Today we're going to be building a simple game in Java called the number guessing game. So before we get started, please don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps me on my journey throughout YouTube. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. So today's video we're going to be making a number guessing game in Java. So what are some of the key components that we need to make a number guessing game? Well, the first thing is we need the user input, right? We need the user to enter something into the console window, and we must take that as an input and see if that number matches what the number has been generated, right? Alright, so how do we do that? Well, a simple method is using the scanner class in Java. So we'll go ahead and create a variable and we'll call it scanner. So we'll call scanner, and we'll set that equal to new scanner. And then we write system.in to take an input from the console window. Now, here in this line, we're getting an error because we don't have the scanner class imported into our Java environment. So we'll go ahead and click right here, and then we'll click import class. So that automatically imports a line right here to help us execute this line of Java code. Alright, then we're going to also create a random number generator from Java. So the computer will randomly generate a number, and the user has to try to guess this number. We'll go ahead and call it random, and then we'll set that equal to new random. Alright, so now we initialize those two variables. So let's go ahead and do something with these variables, right? So we'll just create a new variable called the target number, which is the number that the user is trying to guess. So we'll call it int target number. And notice how my variable names are always corresponding with what the variable is going to be storing. That's always a good practice to have in any coding language. So we'll go ahead and set it equal to random dot next int. So this will generate a random integer, and then we want it to have generate a random number from 1 to 100, we'll say. So we'll go ahead and send it to 100. But now we must look at this carefully because Java will generate random numbers from 0 to 99 in this. So we have to always add a +1 at the end to get from 0 to 100. So this line of code just gets the target variable, the random class, or gets a random class to generate a number from 0 to 100 and store it in the target variable. Next, we're going to call another variable called, we'll just call it int, and then we'll say user guess, and we'll set the equal to 0. Alright, so what this variable is designed to do is it's a variable to store the user's guesses. So we don't want the user to have unlimited guesses, right? We want it to be a fun game that's quick and easy and it's fun to play. So we're gonna have a counter that sees how many times the user has guessed. And then how many lives would we like the user to have? Well, to make it a bit quicker and more fun to play, we're gonna go ahead and say int tries. That's how many tries the user has, and we'll set it equal to 5. This variable just stores the number of tries that the user has, which is 5. It's kind of like lives in a video game. The user has 5 lives to guess the number. Alright, now we need to create the bulk of the code, which is like a loop that continues over and over until the user gets the correct number of or they're out of tries. So we'll go ahead and comment, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say game loop, and we're going to describe what this loop does. So what I want this loop to do is I want it to continue until the user guesses the correct number or has ran out. Alright, so I want this loop to go until these two conditions are met. So what loop would be the best way to do this? Well, there's a for loop, but we don't have a set number of times we want the loop to run. We want the loop to run until. So the keyword here is until. So we're going to be using the while loop. So we'll go ahead and write while to call the loop, and then we'll go ahead and put parentheses. And so what we want to happen here is we don't want the user's guess. So the number of guesses that the user has shouldn't be equal to the target number, because if it is a target number, that means that if the user's guess is equal to the target number, that means that the user has guessed the number right. So we're going to go ahead and write user guess, and then a way to write not equal is the exclamation point and then the equal sign, and then we'll write target number. All right, that's one condition, which is what we've satisfied. We also have another condition we want to satisfy, so we'll write the double and sign, and we'll say tries is greater than 0. All right, so let's go over what this line does. So the user guess is a variable that we have here, which is 0. We've initialized it to 0. This is the number that the user guesses, and then this is the number that the user guesses, and then target number is the number that the user is trying to guess, and it's the random generated number that the computer has. So as long as the user's guess number isn't equal to the random number that the computer has generated, we can keep the game going. And so the key here is and tries is greater than 0, because the user tries has to be greater than 0, because what we're going to be doing with this variable is we're going to keep decrementing it each time that the while loop runs, so that once the user reaches 0 tries or 0 lives left, the game ends. All right, so let's go ahead and get some curly brackets to get the block of the while loop ready. All right, so we're gonna print a message. So we're gonna tell the user what to do. So we're gonna write to guess a number between 1 and 100. All right, there we go. So that's what we want the user to do, and then we're gonna get this variable, which is what we've initialized up here. We're gonna make it equal to whatever the user enters. So we're gonna put scanner.nextInt. So let's go ahead and talk about what this code does. So right here we can see that we're taking something in from the console window. So what's going to happen is we're going to print out this line every single time that the user goes through the while loop, and then this line is going to be executed. So it's going to it's going to ask the user for a number right after this line is printed. Every single time this line is printed, there's going to be a gap right here, which is right here, and it's going to ask the user to enter something. So then what we're going to have to do next is we're going to have to convert that into an integer so that we can store it in this user guess variable, which we have assigned up here. All right. So, we have to change one thing right here. So right now we're using the print line method. So that means we're going to print this, and then the next line it's going to ask the user for an input. We don't want that. We want it to be right after the space. So we're going to change this from print line just to print. Okay. So we've done that. So now we have to create another loop. We have to create an if loop, because we want to check if the user's guess is less than the target number. And we want to give some hints to the user. We want to say, okay, you're lower, you're higher, and we want to help them out with the game to make it more fun and interesting and easier to play. So we'll go ahead and write if, and then we're going to create the if condition, and we'll say user guess is less than target number. We'll put some curly brackets, and then we're going to print, and we're going to go ahead and say too low. Try again. So what this if statement block is trying to do is it's checking, okay, the user enters a number. We take the number from here, and we say, okay, we're going to check and see if that user's number is less than the target number. And we're going to print too low if it is too low. Otherwise, it's just going to skip over this if it's... So then we need another condition. We want to check whether or not the user's number is greater than. We want to prompt them whether it's too high or too high, right? So we're going to go put an else if statement right here, and then we're going to go ahead and put the condition here, and we're going to do the exact same thing we did in the line above, except change the logical operator. So we're going to put user guess is greater than target number. So now we're going to check whether or not the user's guess is greater than the target number. And if it is, we're going to print too high. Try again. All right. So now what this line will do is it's going to do the exact same thing as this line above, but it's going to do the opposite of this line above. Not the exact same thing, it's going to do the opposite. So it's going to see, okay, it's too high. Okay, well, we're going to print too high, try again. All right. Now, what if the user actually gets the number right? Well, that's when we're going to have the else statement. And we're going to designate another block, and we're going to print here system.out.println, and we're going to go ahead and write congrats, you have guessed the correct number. Woo. All right. So what is this? Oh, sorry. That's just a spelling error, maybe. All right. So what we're gonna have to do after this line is, okay, so now the user has guessed the correct number, right? But we don't have any designation to break the while loop. It's gonna keep going. Even after the user guesses the correct number, it's gonna keep going through the while loop over and over and over again. So what we're gonna have to do here is we're going to have to break it. So we're gonna have to write break. So what this will do is, if the user gets the correct number, it's gonna break or exit the while loop. So we're gonna write here, we're gonna write exit the loop if the user guesses correctly. So that's what this line of code is gonna do. And then what we want to do is we want to we're gonna get in the while loop, and then we're gonna write in the while loop, and we're gonna decrement the tries every single time. So we're gonna put tries, and just gonna put minus minus. All right, that's gonna just decrement the tries that the user has. And what is the error? Oh no, we have to put it inside. So Command X, we're gonna put it right here. All right, there we go. Now it's inside the while loop, and now we're good. All right, so we're gonna have to also check something here. So now we have a code that works perfectly fine. We're gonna keep going, but have you noticed what's gonna happen if the user just keeps on going and going and going through this loop? They have infinite tries here. There's no way to check if the user has ran out of tries. We just decrement right here, but we don't know if the user has ever ran out of tries and it's equal to 0. So that's where another if statement comes in. So we're going to write another if statement. I'm going to check if tries is greater than 0. So as long as tries is greater than 0, we're going to print a message to the user telling them you have, and we're going to put a space, plus tries. Oh, nope, not this. Tries, and then we're going to do plus tries left. All right, so let's go ahead. I know there's a lot of plus signs here, quotation marks, and we're just gonna go over what this line does. So we're gonna right here, we're gonna decrement tries by keep decrementing tries. So this double subtraction sign or minus sign means is we're gonna minus 1 from the tries initialized variable right here, every single iteration that the while loop has. And now we want to check if the user's tries or lives is greater than 0. So as long as it's greater than 0, we're going to print out this message to the user that they have this many tries left. So then what happens if the tries is less than 0? Well, if the tries is less than 0, then we're going to go ahead and write an if statement right here, and we're going to write tries, or sorry, yeah, we're going to write tries is equal to 0, so less than or equal to 0, and user guess is not equal to target number. So if both these conditions are true, then we're going to print sorry, you have run out of tries. The correct number was, and we want to tell the user what the actual correct number was. So we're going to go ahead and write right here, target, oh, not here, we're going to put it right here, target number, and we're just going to make it a bit neat, so we're just going to put a period at the end. All right, So that is what this variable or this line of code is going to do. It's going to print out that they have run out of tries. Alright, so hopefully this code works. Oh, it's always good practice to close your scanner. So I'm just going to go ahead and write scanner, or not, right here, scanner dot close. Alright, let's go ahead and run this code and see what happens. Alright, so this code is asking us to guess a number between 1 and 100. So we're just going to go ahead and put the right and the even. Alright, so let's see what happened. So we guessed a number which is between 1 and 100 and we guessed 50. Alright, so what the code has told us is that we have guessed too low and we must try again. Alright, and it also tells us how many tries we have left. And then it prompts us with another message or the second iteration of the while loop, and it tells us guess a number between 1 and 100. So I'm just going to go with, so since my number is too low, I'm going to go with 75. And it goes with too low again, and then I have 3 tries left. So I'm just going to go with 90 here. Okay, too high, so it's between 75 and 90. I'm not going to try, I'm just going to go with like 80, we'll go 83. Too low, okay, so between 90 and 83, 87. Okay, too high, so it was 84. Oh, I was one off, dang. But that's alright. So now you know that the game works because we have run out of tries and we didn't guess the correct number. So it wrote we have run out of tries and the correct number was 84. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this game. This game is pretty fun, very fun to play. Share this video with your friends, and maybe you can have like a simple competition with your friends to like see who wins. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Peace out.